He was a very successful executive at ADM, Archer Daniels Midland, large corporation, top 50 corporation in the world. And he was one of the top 4 or 5 in the corporation. And he had a Ferrari, had access to private planes, big house, all of this stuff. But yet, he was one that was, and we talk about it more, embezzling from the company. He was an informant for an FBI case against the company. Anyway, just there's a lot of ins and outs to that story. But during the course of the conversation, Mark and I were talking about some similar things about our upbringing during the 70s and 80s, and just kind of about the go-go 80s that formed a lot of us. He was a few years ahead of me in college and things like that. And at some point, we came to this kind of aha moment, both of us, that we, myself and him, it manifested in different ways, but we had an addiction to more. And so that was one area that this topic that we're discussing today came up. And I want to say that it wasn't that huge to me then, but the more I thought about it later, and then I listened to the episode, I went, wow, there's something to this. And for those that know me, know I kind of have a spiritual, I guess, attitude about me. And I really do believe it was the Holy Spirit just kind of like reaching out to me, and probably Mark saying, bam, this is something that has more to it. I want y'all to pay attention. Well, so that was one thing. And then recently, I was actually doing my final read through on my novel, my debut novel that's going to be released soon. I'll mention more about that later. And so I was reading through it, and I needed to write down some marketing messages, kind of a summary description, and some things like that. And so as I was doing that, I recognized that one of the things that was an underlying theme of the book. There's a lot of themes to the book. It's a journey that the main character goes on, and it's a personal journey. And then there's also this mysterious, mystical coach person that interacts with my main character. And there's some themes around both of those. But I recognized that this theme of addiction to more was kind of sprinkled throughout the book. And so when I wrote some of the description, I actually tied that into it. So I recognized that this was a theme of what I had written, but I didn't even know it as I was writing. And I don't know if that makes any sense to you. Some people say, how could you written this book, Tim, and not know that one of the themes was that your main character and others that you were speaking to, you were kind of calling out this addiction to more? And the answer to it is, I was just writing a book, and I really felt like the Lord was telling me some things to write. So maybe it was the Lord doing it, or I don't know. I don't know how it came about. So I can't answer that question, but I do know that afterwards it did come out. So those two things kind of got me thinking about this, and kind of caused me to open up this document and start putting these notes on it that I'm going to be sharing with you here over the next few minutes.